We have a couple things to get to for today, but first off, the risks are kind of getting a break. No high-end risk for the next few days, so that is always a plus. Pick up some damage we've had from storms the last few days. However, we are continuing to heat up. That heat dome has moved from over Arizona to parked itself right over DFW and Oklahoma City, and it is hot this week, let me tell you. And we're also going to talk about new tropical developments out in the Atlantic Basin, but don't worry, they do not look like to be a threat for the continental U.S., so that is always a plus. As always, we're going to talk about our upcoming events. We were in New Orleans last week. Come in a few weeks, we're going to be in Atlanta, Georgia at Truist Park for the All-Star Stadium Tour in Atlanta, Georgia. Come out, come meet us, and come say hi. So looking at yesterday's storm reports, you can see that there was a ton of wind reports down in the southeast from Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, down to Florida. And this area is also going to get some storms again today, so keep that in mind. And also the Kansas City area just got hammered with those strong winds yesterday. Also got some more storms earlier this morning. And as a whole, the month of July has had a ton of hail reports, hail and wind reports, almost a ton for all year, and setting a record for the busiest month of July as a whole. So current conditions, like I said, we were watching that area in Kansas City slowly moving past down to southern Missouri, later going to get into the Arkansas and Louisiana area. And a look at our current temperatures across the state, already 100 degrees in Dallas, and it is just now noon on this Monday morning. Once again, it's going to be continuously hot going out the next few days, 95 in Houston, but with that cloud cover in Kansas City, you're getting a much needed break from this heat. Only 73 degrees, but once again, 90s down in Georgia and Florida. Once again, that heat dome, you can see it is parked right over North Texas and Oklahoma with these dark shades of red that match my dress. This is where the torrential heat is going to be, and where all those heat alerts are also being found. So once again, those heat advisories are those orange colors. The excessive heat watch is that maroon shade. Doesn't look like we have any, but we have had a lot this past summer, and excessive heat warnings down from Austin to DFW into Shreveport and the New Orleans area. So once again, heat illness can become a huge factor. Make sure you are staying hydrated and limiting your outdoor exposure. Now, for relief for us in Oklahoma City, doesn't look like anything for the next few days with that heat dome, but come later in the weekend and to start early next week, those rain chances slowly start coming upward, and that will help lower our temperatures. Again, the next few days we will be in the 100s. It's going to be a very hot week. Not good for roofing at all. But switching gears from heat to storms, you can see Florida is going to have another round of some storms later today. You can see up south of the Jacksonville area and the Palm Beach area, some strong storms later tonight. This is the 8 o'clock hour, 7 p.m. Central, but because of the East Coast time, 7 o'clock tonight for the Florida areas before those storms move off into the Atlantic. Another area we are watching is Denver, not only today but also tomorrow. So you can see these storms are going to start coming in. Again, this is 10:30 Central Time tonight, so factor in that time change. You can see just how strong these storms are over the Denver area and stretching into Wyoming up to Rapid City, South Dakota as well, before they continue to move off into parts of Nebraska early tomorrow morning. Rumbles of thunder waking you up are possible for western parts of Nebraska. So for the hail forecast, we had mentioned Missouri with that storm system that has come through earlier and is continuing to make its way through other parts of the state of Missouri, but also out west. I had talked about Denver, and you can see that St. Louis and Springfield will also be impacted. But I had talked about Denver and going to parts of Wyoming, Cheyenne, Wyoming, up to Rapid City, and parts of North Dakota as well have the chance of seeing some small penny, nickel, dime size hail possible. So that's what we're watching today for your hail threat. Now for the wind threat, there's a little bit more areas we are watching. It is monsoon season down in Arizona, so much needed break in that heat with some pop-up storms. So that's just some areas of wind we are watching. But again, this area from Denver up to Cheyenne, Rapid City, and North Dakota, we have those very strong winds, over 50 miles an hour possible, and then stretching from Missouri down to Louisiana and even along the coast where we had those storms down in Florida that I showed earlier and up the Georgia coast by Savannah to South Carolina and North Carolina as well. These are just those sea breeze storms that continue to pop up throughout the summer and kind of ruin your beach days before they make their way off of the coast. So going tomorrow, Denver, once again, you have that risk for tomorrow night. Once again, you can see this will be 6:30 your time. So everyone's coming home from work, getting out to dinner. So that's when you're going to see those very strong storms before they continue to move off to parts of Kansas and Nebraska. So tomorrow, areas we're watching for hail, once again, the Denver area, from Colorado Springs up to Denver, Estes Park, and into Cheyenne and the Wyoming area once again. And then moving back up north, Fargo, North Dakota, and parts of northern Minnesota. Minneapolis, you aren't in the risk, but anyone above and north of Minneapolis along the Minnesota-Canada border need to be aware of this risk for tomorrow. So cities today that need to take precaution, we had Kansas City earlier today, also Shreveport, Louisiana, Denver, and then your coastal Florida cities, not as much of a threat, but a very high wind threat, again, for all the tourists at the beach enjoying their summer days. So where can you roof? If you're a fan of the heat, pretty much everywhere. Down in DFW and the OKC area, it's going to be 100 degrees, so probably don't want to be out on those shingles with just how much heat is absorbed by them. But you can be down along the coast is also going to be very muggy, so be sure you stay hydrated. Not much rain is going to hurt you in these areas. It's just going to be that heat that is just going to be torrential, impacting your work ethic. And as we go to the tropical outlook, I feel like every week we're talking about a new storm system. We have this area in the yellow that has come off the Carolina coast. For the next 2 days to 7 days, only about a 20% chance of development. So not a very strong chance of development, but still something we need to watch as it continues to move out into the Atlantic. And then this area, this is Invest 96L, and for the next 48 hours, there is a 70% chance of development, and over the next 7 days, there is an 80% chance of development. The next name on the list for the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season is Emily, so I wouldn't be surprised if the coming days, Emily decides to join in on the fun and these warm water temperatures. But before we go, let's talk about a couple hailstorm highlights we had from Friday. So this is a 3-star map from Wisconsin. The max hail size was 2.75 inches in diameter, and 37,000 homes were impacted. You can see the brunt of the storm in the red areas. And then we also had a 4-star day out in Nebraska also on Friday. Just look at how deep these colors are from Omaha, Lincoln, and western parts of the state. Again, max hail sizes were 2.75 inches, and nearly 70,000 homes were impacted with this storm as well. This had tennis ball, baseball size hail. The pictures from this storm were incredible. And as always, before I wrap it up here, make sure you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and of course, TikTok. You can always call us to contact us or check us out on our website at www.hailtrace.com. Contact us at info@hailtrace.com or give us a call at 855-234-4245. As always, I'm Peyton Gallion.